Another election day has come and gone, with fewer voters heading to the actual polling locations. The trend of early mail and walk-in voting continues, and it's prompting changes for future elections. Gina Mangieri is always investigating and tells us what's happening. Gina?
Joe, the resources that go into holding Election Day voting are very high compared to the falling number of people who choose to go to the polls on that day. Whether we've hit enough of a tipping point to shift to statewide all-mail voting largely rides on how an experiment 2 years from now pans out.
After primary voter turnout took a dive a couple of years ago into the low 30s, hopes were high over the weekend for a reversal. This past Saturday, turnout squeaked back up a bit toward 40%, but still came in third worst since another low point back in 2008. Voting advocates see some main reasons for the disconnect.
There are better ways. We do live in the 21st century, and we do expect modernization and convenience, and I think that shows with turnout.
It certainly shows in the mail and early walk-in vote turnout. Nearly 180,000 people voted ahead of time. That's 62% of votes cast. Compare that to just over 100,000 people voting on Election Day. Early voters have been the majority since 2014.
We do know that since previous elections, absentee has been trending upwards, so you will see more absentee ballots than Election Day ballots.
An all-mail pilot project will kick off on Kauai for the 2020 election. Voting advocates say all eyes will be on that to prove it's worth a statewide shift.
Most people are voting absentee via mail, and so we don't necessarily need all of these precinct locations if we were to consolidate and have a vote-by-mail, statewide vote-by-mail program.
Those 235 polling places require more than 4,000 volunteers and eat up about a quarter of the $3.2 million needed for each election cycle. Going all-mail statewide could save $750,000 per two-year cycle. After Kauai tries it in 2020, a report is due to the legislature by January 2021 on what it would take to implement all-mail voting statewide. But that still leaves several more election cycles needing to be teed up the old-fashioned way.
Is there any middle ground that can be done, especially in the bigger locations like Oahu, somewhere in between going all mail, which could take a while for Oahu, and fanning out across, 235 polling places right now?
Well, I think the vote-by-mail system that we are advocating for is that compromise. Again, we're not taking away the option to vote in person.
The Office of Elections told me there will still be 235 polling places for November's general election, but that they will be looking at the polling place count for 2020 in light of the upward trend in early voting. That 2021 legislature report on the Kauai experiment will also need to show whether participation increased after all registered voters received a mail ballot.
In states that do have statewide vote-by-mail programs like Colorado, Oregon, and Washington, they have much higher and much more consistent voter turnout rates than we do.
Even though the majority in Hawaii are voting early, there are still a lot of folks, yours truly included, who enjoy that polling place, voting booth experience. They're not talking about doing away with that entirely.
No, thank goodness, because I enjoy that too. I go to the polling place, but I go early. Not entirely. So what they're going to do in Kauai for that first 2020 is they will have the early voting like normal, and then on Election Day there will be one voter assistance center that you can go in. Now, the advocates say they will push for more than one to be open in future incarnations, especially now that we've just launched Election Day registration on the same day.
All right. Thank you, Gina. Oh, well, I should ask you, too, how did that same-day registration go this first election?
We're getting mixed results so far. So Kauai said they registered 13 new voters. Maui had 168. No word yet on the Big Island. And then Honolulu, there were so many polling places. They say it could take up to 2 weeks before we know their same-day voting tally. They have to receive all of the forms back, count them up, and then tell us all of those votes counted. They just need to know which ones were the new registrants versus the old.
All right. Thanks, Gina.
Thanks, Joe.